Hi, this is Tanner Rainbolt. This is parental apathy, the case study. Category one, problem and analysis. What I know that this is Mrs. Rose's first administration job. She just completed her master's over the summer. There's very little parental involvement at the JFK school. The principal, who's there right now, isn't in favor of a PTO or PTA group. They used to have one in the past, but it kind of dissipated. And so they passed out a flyer to the students to take home to their parents and explaining that, there would be hopefully a parental committee advisory group. And only 8 parents ended up showing up to that meeting. So, what do I need to know? A few questions. Why is the principal not in favor of a PTO or PTA group? What happened to make him not try to have that communication or parental support? Number three, how does the staff feel? Hopefully, they're in constant communication with parents and working with them on a regular basis, so maybe they can provide input on what they see from the support side from the parents. What do the parents and the community members feel about giving support? What is their feedback? What is their feedback on communication between the principal and themselves? And what happened to the previous parent organizations? Why did that end? What things went wrong with that? Identifying the problem. There's obviously a lack of parental support or interest within the school. There's definitely a lack of communication between the administrators and the parents and the community members, and same vice versa. The administration doesn't see eye to eye, so the principal and Mrs. Rose, they're completely different ends of the spectrum. The principal wants, nothing to do with parental support. He's already tried in the past, and he doesn't see it fit to continue to try. Whereas Mrs. Rose is just coming into her first job, and she wants as much, parental input and support as she can get. And so the real question and problem here is, how do we continue this meeting with 8 parents or not? What are the next steps? So category two, plan of action and implementation. So here's the steps to action plan number one. So you have to talk with the principal about continuing the meeting, which leads into steps number two. We don't want to lose more support. So we have those 8 parents. We should try to gain those 8 parents' feedback and support and work from there. Number three, talk and find out from other stakeholders. I talked about, talking with the staff and the parents, community members on what they see, what they feel about giving input and support. And number four, Mrs. Rose has to talk with the principal about getting on the same page. They need a common goal or vision when it comes to parental support and involvement. And, there needs to be some type of compromise so that they can be on that same page. Implementation. Step number one, I want to implement regular meetings with staff. So hopefully these are admin meetings, whether it be once a month, every 2 weeks, however that works. And then I want to have regular meetings with the parents and community members. So hopefully monthly or quarterly, whether that's after school, in the evening, before school, just to continue to get their support. Number two, I want to provide information and professional development to our staff about how parental support really can help the success of our school. So we want to, show them data that, supports, if you have parental support, it's going to make kids more successful. Number three, I want to form parental support groups. So whether that's PTA, PTO, advisory, a council, I want to have as much parental input as I can. Number four, continue to reach out to parents and community members to build those relationships. You want to build those strong connections. We need to repair those. And number five, I want to host events to help build those relationships, whether that's back to school night, whether that's coffee with the principal, whether that is, those pizza bingo nights, community health and wellness nights, just to continue to build that, collaboration and support between our school and the parents and community members. Resolving the issue, what is best for students. If you have those connections and opportunities and experiences, you just don't know what's out there. So if you continue to build those connections, you're going to have more resources. You might have parents who have access to certain technology. You might have parents who, know somebody that could come in and be a guest speaker, things like that. Number two, we got to get all stakeholders on board. I talked about having the same vision and goals. If we can get the staff, the administration, the parents, the students all on the same board, it's going to make our school more successful. And number three, I just talked about that. If you really have the parents on your side and they understand what's going on in the school day, that way when they're home, they can hold their students more accountable, and it's just a positive collaboration and connection between everyone. So resolving the issue, number one, again, shared vision and support from all stakeholders. Number two, we're creating that collaborative relationship. We want to be one cohesive unit, whether that's administration to staff, staff to parents, parents to students, and so on. And number three, we want to continue and build those groups and committees that, again, hopefully will gain more resources and improve learning throughout our school. So debriefing what I was thinking, number one, what happened between the principals and the parents to go down this route. Number two, how should Mrs. Rose handle this new difficult situation? It's obviously something that she's never encountered before. And number three, how can you get on board and rebuild those relationships that have been broken along the way? So feeling concerned about the lack of support, not only from the principal, but from the parents and community members as well. Number two, you have to have an understanding because the principal does have a side of the story to this, but there also is a side to the staff and to the parents. And number three, just hopeful that we can turn this thing around. So I value the staff's input, including the principals. I value the parents and community, and I want to do whatever we can to make them their voice heard and have their input. Number three, everyone's here for the students' learning, so if we can all get on the same page, that would be awesome. Unresolved issues, number one, will the principals and parents be able to change their mindset? Obviously, there's relationships broken along the way. Can we repair those? Which goes in step number two. And unresolved issue number three, can we increase parental involvement? We'll have to start small, baby steps, work our way up, but the goal is to get everybody on the same page. All right, category 5, reflection, component number 1. So we gathered all stakeholders' feedback. We met with parents and formed groups. So hopefully that's going to continue. And number 3, we just want to get everybody on the same page, provide our students with more resources, impact that learning, which will make our school a more successful place. Component number 2, so this is talking about diverse needs. Number 1, we're forming groups with the staff at meetings to go over, parental input. Formed committees and groups with the parents and community members, hopefully meeting monthly or quarterly just to discuss the decisions that are going on within the school. Number 2, we hosted community involvement nights. Again, I talked about those back to school nights, pizza bingo, all that type of stuff to just build that morale and build those relationships. And number 3, continue to gather feedback and take input from the community. We want them to be a part of our school and a part of this process. Number 3, component, talking about community resources. Number 1, we're going to gain those resources and connections and opportunities through involvement, through building those relationships. Number 2, we're going to build that collaboration back between all stakeholders. We really have to be able to one cohesive unit and work together. So again, staff, parents, students, administrators, all got to be on the same page. And number 3, we're going to continue relationships building through the schools and the community. So that is my case study. Thank you.